Hi, I'm Michael Choi, and today we're going to discuss who owns the office rent roll, your rent roll. And a lot of the time, I think the principals have this, yes, they own the rent roll, but they feel like they own the relationships with the clients. Now, whether it be a rent roll of 200 houses or 1,000 plus houses, it's very hard to run a business and still have a relationship with all those landlords as much as you'd like to. And what happens is they say, look, that rent roll, that's mine. Anything that comes off the rent roll, that's ours. We're listing that. That's a company listing, etc., etc. So sometimes there can be, even if it's not a rule in the office, there can be a vibe or an unspoken rule where you just don't touch the rent rolls in terms of sale listings. So the sales department, the sales team stay away from the rent roll because there's a vibe, even it's an unspoken rule that belongs to the principal. Okay? And even if they're allowed to, sometimes they feel they're stepping on someone's toe, they're stepping on the principal's toe, so they don't chase it as hard as they do any other listing. And I think this is dangerous because what happens is your sales team aren't going to work as hard on those listings because in fear of you looking at them and going, hey, that should belong to the office, not you. How did you get in touch with that? How did you get that listing? Did they call you? Did you call them? How did you get their phone number in the first place? And the way I look at it is, if they list something from our rent roll, fabulous, great, good on you. Thanks for keeping them in the loop. You deserve it. Thanks for getting the listing. I'd rather have a percentage of something than 100% of nothing, and my sales team not chase the listing on the rent roll and it goes to another company. How embarrassing is that? So what I actually think the way that it should work is, say you've got 1,000, if you've got a decent rent roll, say of 1,000 properties, that in itself could be a farm area. That in itself could be what the agent specialises in. So you just don't have to specialise in a particular part of a suburb or a particular suburb. You can specialise in a building. If you're working in the CBD, one building can be a farm area. You could specialise in waterfront homes only, and that's all you sell. Anything that's on the water, that's what we sell. Anything else you don't sell. Units, you could be the specialist on units. That could be a farm area. Why not the rent roll? You have to have experience in investment properties, knows the ins and outs to that, know a little bit about the tax, depreciation side of things, negative gearing and things like that, and be able to give landlords advice. And there's a benefit of this. If an office allows the sales team or a sales member to have the rent roll as their farm, what happens is there's those no reason calls that property managers are supposed to make or BDMs are supposed to make, but they get too busy with maintenance reports, listing other properties and doing the day in and day out of a property manager, so they don't get those no reason calls that they're supposed to do at the start of the day, get that done with before they do all their other work. In reality, it doesn't really happen. It doesn't happen in a lot of places anyway. And so these no reason calls get done where instead of a landlord only getting a call from their real estate agent speaking to them on a negative situation, because that's the other time when a landlord speaks to an agent is when something negative is happening, nothing positive. So, my agent's calling me. My agent's calling me, and normally when my agent calls me, they give me advice. They update me with a local sale in the area. They update me with what the market's doing. They update me with how the rents are going in the area. And I think a salesperson has the advantage over a BDM in doing those calls because they know the market. And an investor wants to know what the market is doing around their investment property. So the advantage of it is retention in your rent roll. If you've got someone farming the rent roll for listings, for sales listings, you'll retain. You won't, yes, you'll lose listings, but that's because you're making money. But I also believe you'll retain because of the contact is not just negative contact, it's positive contact. The other thing is you're going to get the listings, as opposed to someone else getting them because they belong to the director, so the director is chasing them. The director, a principal, is too busy to be chasing rental listings to be sold. Okay, no matter how much they like to, they're there to run the business. The principal role is to innovate, to inspire, to motivate, to think of newer ways to do better business, to make sure the environment of the sales team or everyone that is in the office is productive and enjoyable. They're not there chasing the rent roll. Okay, they're there to grow the business. They shouldn't be competing against the staff. So that's my thoughts on the rent roll. I believe that you should have someone specifically designated to maintain the relationship on behalf of the company, and they should get those listings at 100%. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.